लेकिन उन्होंने कुछ ऐसा किया कि my mother like gave away lakhs of rupees. What could really be happening? How do intelligent people become vulnerable?
The way I talk to you, I'll make you so gullible.
What kind of emotional vulnerability do you think scamsters and hackers are really playing on to create that urgency, to create that FOMO?
No government official is going to call you and tell you that you've been digitally arrested.
One mistake that people tend to make consistently, are there really any safe passwords today? Is there any app behavior that I can look out for to prevent being hacked? One reel will start, one challenge will start, and everybody will want to participate. Sometimes could it be hackers who start trends like these in order to be able to get access to people's personal information?
It could be somebody who's getting access to your facial recognition.
So this entire belief system, I am an open book, I have nothing to hide.
A lot of people don't understand the gravitas of what can go wrong.
Yes.
All rooms in hotels, listening device behind that port.
That's scary.
And your entire data is just being copied from your mobile to others. People are posting photographs of their mark sheet. But today you don't know where your data is being stored.
Yeah, so oversharing is a big problem. Think hackers only target big corporations? Think again. In a world where your vacation photo could tip off a thief and AI can mimic your face with chilling accuracy, cybersecurity isn't just an IT issue. It is a personal one. Welcome to a brand new episode of the Growth Room with Nishtha, where we explore the intersection of emotional intelligence, digital transformation, and the human behaviors shaping our future. Today's theme: digital danger zones, navigating cybersecurity, resilience, and transformation. In this episode, we'll uncover the truths behind cyber myths and explore real life oversharing disasters. Joining me today is Mr. Jaspreet Singh, partner and leader cybersecurity, Grant Thornton Bharat LLP. Jaspreet is someone who lives at the front line of digital defense, a cybersecurity expert who knows exactly how our everyday habits, assumptions, and emotions make us vulnerable. From protecting your kids online to building cyber resilience in large organizations, from ethical hacking to emotional intelligence in the age of AI, we're covering it all. So if you've ever said, I've got nothing to hide, you'll want to stick around because what you don't know can hurt you. Welcome to the Growth Room, Jaspreet. This is, a conversation I've been waiting to have for many weeks now. But before we, kind of deep dive into the threats around cybersecurity, I want to start by asking you, what is it that you found so exciting about it? Was it a personal pain point that you were trying to solve, or was it just curiosity that snowballed into, a professional interest?
First of all, thanks, Nishtha, for having me here. I wish it could be either one of them. So I did my grads in computer applications, and then I ended up doing my MBA in IT. And when I was studying, right, it was the golden era of IT, wherein everybody wanted to do something in IT and then go abroad and make a living. I remember a couple of incidents. I think the first one was got a call from a friend. I think about 7:38 in the evening. Good old days in Pune. Uh, his CPU, the hard CPUs that we had, right,
Right.
the big ones, had a CD drive. He said, my CD drive is misbehaving. I said, how can a CD drive misbehave? He said, I'm browsing on the internet and the CD drive on its own is coming in and going out. And I found it quite spooky, to be
Yeah.
very honest, right? And I went and I asked him, I did very simple things. I looked at history, etc., and I found that there were maybe a couple of suspicious links that he clicked on, and then I realized he's somebody who was studying with me, right? This is an educated person,
Right.
still clicking on an
A suspicious link. Yes.
right?
Yeah.
Imagine what is happening to the other people around us.
Right.
So maybe I would say probably that would be a pivot point. And the second was obviously instead of going into an IT company, I landed into a consulting company. And one of the fastest growing areas was cyber.
Right.
So I just got hooked onto the bandwagon. And over the last 22 years, I've realized it's not only a corporate problem.
Right.
It's a problem that today, unfortunately, affects the CEO of a company to the
Yes.
last level of employee in a
100%.
company
Yes.
to everybody on this planet.
Yeah.
All you have to do is, for example, not pick up any calls in the day and look at your messages that you would have received at the end of the day.
Yep. Yep.
You will at least today get 5 to 10 attempts of somebody trying to get hold of your data.
Yeah, so I think this whole concept where people feel they're not important enough, and because of that feeling, they share their personal information. They go to a restaurant, they click a selfie, they put it online, or they will geotag themselves. So, this entire belief system that I'm not important enough or I'm an open book, I have nothing to hide. Do you think it's coming back to bite people?
Very, very deep question, right? And you've actually, in that same question, touched 4 5 different aspects.
Okay.
I'll probably take it in the reverse order. Forget people. A lot of corporates that I speak to say, मेरा तो सारा डेटा पब्लिकली अवेलेबल है, कोई कुछ लेके भी चला जाएगा तो क्या होगा,
Right.
right? But I use a term called what can go wrong.
Huh.
A lot of people don't understand the gravitas of what can go wrong.
Yes.
And मेरा क्या चला जाएगा, they don't know what all can go. From a people perspective, I think it's very, very basic general awareness today that the government and everybody, a lot of regulated institutes
Yes.
are trying their best to do. But unfortunately, that is the size of the population that we're dealing with. You can't promote something only in tier 1 cities where almost 80% of your population lives in tier 2 cities or even in tier 3 cities, right? For example, all our big railway stations now have open Wi-Fi's,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
But you will see probably the most intelligent person walking on that platform, clicking on that, doing scanning that Wi-Fi code or getting hooked onto that Wi-Fi, and doing internet banking on a public open Wi-Fi.
Yeah. People do it all the time. Even they do it in airports.
Airports, there are jacks, right?
Okay.
Airport is still a very secure place.
Yeah.
It's very difficult to put something behind that jack, right? Because there's national security, etc., involved. But there are so many charging stations in all rooms, in hotels, everywhere, where you now have just a USB port.
Oh.
What do you know is behind a USB port? You don't know. There could, for all you know, there could be a full-fledged computer, there could be a full-fledged listening device behind that
God.
port.
That's scary.
And your entire data is just being copied from your mobile to others. A lot of people don't even have two-factor authentication or basic security on their mobile phones.
Right. Right. That's very interesting, and it's scary at the same time, right? Like you don't know where all you're being truly compromised. In fact, that brings me back to one of Harvard's study. They said that 90% breaches happen because of human error, right? And people don't understand that small things that they are doing are actually compromising the security. Just tell me one mistake that people tend to make consistently, or one thing they tend to overlook a lot that gets them into this kind of trouble.
So you said human error. I wouldn't even use the word error, right? Error is something which you're doing by mistake,
Yes.
right? But imagine today, the board results just came in,
Yes.
right? If I were to look at my top 3 4 feeds in apps like Facebook, Insta, maybe some part of LinkedIn, people are posting photographs of their mark sheets
Yes.
with their kids, which
Yes.
has their school name, kid's date of birth. Imagine what is the personal information that you're just giving it out there, right? And you will say, yes, I have restricted access to Instagram. But today you don't know where your data is being stored, who is getting access to it, right? Then you are not, you're not signing up saying my data is only being used by this particular company. Otherwise, you wouldn't be getting 100 calls
All
from all
kinds of
type of
places. Yes.
banks, all type of real estate organizations, insurance, name it.
Yeah. So oversharing is a big problem.
Oversharing is a big problem. Thankfully, a lot of people have mellowed down even on things like uh, check-ins, but I know at least 5 6 cases where people actually checked in saying going to Goa for 2 weeks, etc., which led to compromise in security.
Yeah.
Because if I am stalking somebody and I know that the person is not going to be around
Absolutely.
for 2 weeks, what are you doing? You're telling somebody that was my house is empty for 2 weeks.
Any particular incident that struck you in a similar scenario where somebody's check-in or geotagging led to a big disaster? Anything that you recall that you may want to share?
A lot of times, and actually, the biggest problem today, if you look at the cyber cell, cyber crime, uh, I do a lot of work with them both in professional, personal capacity, is the youngsters between 16 to 23, 24.
Yeah.
Was doing a awareness session for one of the largest learning and development academies, right? Who train the future fashion designers, air hostesses, etc., etc. And you'll not believe it, right? What happened was this generation shares everything on
Yes.
Insta, on WhatsApp, etc. Tomorrow, unfortunately, something goes wrong. That entire data is up for everybody to see. How do you control things like that? Yes, there is a cyber cell, right? There are rail guards available, but you are also sharing it knowingly, right? It is the consent that you're giving for the first time when you're sharing that information. Why can't you be more careful, more
Sure.
judgmental, right? Pick up. I'm sure. Sorry if I ask you this question. On your phone, you will have access to Instagram, LinkedIn, etc.,
Yes.
etc.
Yes.
Do you sign out from these devices, or do you use at least two-factor authentication on your phone?
No, I don't. On
If your
most, I
phone is,
don't.
if your phone gets compromised,
Yes.
right? It's like giving your ATM card and the password to somebody.
Understood. One other thing that one has noticed increasingly these days is that there are these reels or trends or challenges that everybody wants to hop onto. So one reel will start, one challenge will start, and everybody will want to participate. Do you think something like this can snowball into a very, very big threat for the people who are sharing it? Or sometimes could it be hackers who start trends like these in order to be able to get access to people's personal information?
Absolutely. 2 months ago, there was a trend which started.
Okay.
There was an AI app in which you could upload your photo and it would give you a very nice
Yes.
photograph of you.
Yeah.
It would create like a digital avatar
Yes.
for your eye. What was that doing? That app was taking your entire facial recognition.
Oh,
Who is behind that app? Who are the founders?
Yeah.
Where are they storing data?
Nobody knows.
Did you read the terms of conditions when you downloaded that app?
Yeah.
I don't know. It could be a genuine fun app, but on the other hand, it could be somebody who's getting access to your facial recognition.
And most people use facial recognition, whether it is for banking, it is for
Any
opening
of
their
your
phones,
apps.
most of the apps.
Yeah.
Most of the apps. So now that we're talking about apps, I thought I'd ask you this question later, but let's just plunge right into it. Do you think convenience is the new vector for these things, in the sense that we're a generation that loves things instantly. It started with instant noodles, and now we want our groceries to arrive in 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 8 minutes. All these conveniences that we are using today, could they also harm us in a way where we can get completely compromised when it comes to our security, our personal information, our data?
A lot of things.
Okay.
Again, a lot of things. And I'll give you example of probably one of the most popular apps which became a rage in the last 8 10 years.
Okay.
I'll not name the app.
Sure.
It's an app
Yeah.
in which when you get a call from an unknown number, it pops up whether it's a spam. This is much before the telecom operators themselves started giving you a warning whether it's a spam or not. It would say whether it's a spam call or you're getting a call from a
known number,
known
non-spam
number to
number.
that non-spam number and known to that database.
Yes.
Now, how did that app create that database? It accessed when Nishtha downloaded that app, it accessed 1,500 contacts from Nishtha's telephone directory,
Oh,
uploaded it on the web, on the cloud. It took Jaspreet's contact, uploaded on cloud. There is an unknown number who's calling me, but maybe he's in your list and saved as Gaurav,
yeah.
right? It shows me, it looks up, as soon as somebody is calling me, it looks up the entire database that it has created by taking contacts from all
the
phones, does a query, sees, oh, this number is saved as Gaurav, and it will give me a pop-up of Gaurav calling.
Wow.
It looked at your salary details, it looked at your bank details, etc., etc. So it was a very convenient app. Somebody, somebody who gets a lot of calls and you exchange your numbers a lot, right? Even as consultants, we go out and give our business
Yes.
cards left, right, and center. So it was a very convenient app. But once you understood the modus operandi of that app, you would probably think twice even before downloading any app as like this.
So tell me, when we talk about regulation, okay, is it that we're not being able to enforce regulation because we're a very densely populated country, or similar trends are also observed in countries which are not as densely populated as ours? For example, the Western world, is regulation more streamlined, more strict there to avoid these things from happening, or everybody is equally vulnerable and the onus actually finally lands on the individual?
Interesting question. I'll probably like to break the regulation piece into three pieces. I think we would be, from a regulation perspective, though we are yet to, our DPDPA, which is the Data Privacy Act in India, is yet to see the light of the day. But I think from a regulation perspective, still we are pretty decent. We would probably, if I were to put it in green, red, and amber, we'll probably be amber inching towards green.
Okay.
From a regulation perspective.
That's very interesting.
But the problem is the demographics that we have. All right. And I don't know how much true this is, but I've seen YouTube videos where you want an Aadhaar card. There are particular places that you go.
वो बन जाता है.
You pay 1,000 rupees, not one Aadhaar card. At 1,000 rupees, you get 500 Aadhaar cards for a region.
Oh God.
Which is linked to a mobile number, and you go to like a pan wala or somebody and give him 500 rupees and say कि एक number पे एक OTP आएगा, मुझे OTP दे दियो. If and that person is willing to give that OTP for 500 rupees, imagine what is the state of awareness. I'll give you another example, right? All apps today, all ride sharing apps.
Ride sharing.
Cab sharing.
Yeah, understood. Cab sharing.
Apps. Anybody. Could be a two-wheeler app to a fancy car hire app. Ask for your address. Obviously, he has to come and pick you.
Correct.
Right. When the driver is getting onboarded in that, he gets a training. Right. He signs on consent, saying he will not share your information. He will not share your whatever details XYZ with anybody else, right? But for somebody who's earning 10,000, 15,000 rupees a month, what does consent mean?
Yeah, data is king. He can pass it on. Yeah.
Number one.
Yeah.
Number two, we ourselves, and everybody is guilted. Two more things, right? You get an invitation for a wedding card. Today, open any wedding card. You will not only have my number, you will have my father's number, my parents' number,
RSVP.
RSVP में even kids number.
Yeah.
और लास्ट में लोकेशन भी घर की पूरी, और कितने दिन शादी है, कितने दिन मैं घर से बाहर रहूंगा, कहाँ पे है. Why are we printing all this on that? एक नंबर दे दो ना, एक नंबर टेम्प पे ले लो.
Wow, ये तो कोई सोचता ही नहीं है.
For 3 months, take that number.
Yeah.
And then
discard it.
And discard also, get it closed from
the operator.
The telecom operator, and not just destroy the SIM card and think कि नंबर बंद हो गया.
ये तो कोई सोच ही नहीं रहा है ये सब करने का.
Boarding passes.
Yeah, boarding passes.
फोटोग्राफ डाल रहे हैं इंस्टाग्राम पे बोर्डिंग पास,
Yes.
जिसमें आपका वो जो PNR है और द बुकिंग ID हैज एवरीथिंग. इट इवन हैज द डॉक्यूमेंट which verifies your date of birth etc. could be your Aadhaar, could be your license, जो भी डॉक्यूमेंट से आपने बुकिंग करी है,
My
पासपोर्ट एक्सेट्रा, वो सब उस नंबर से लिंक्ड है, राइट?
People just don't realize what they're doing.
Because nobody understand the gravitas of what can go wrong, and hackers are getting super smart. They are not sending you me messages saying कि हमारा इलेक्ट्रिसिटी का बिल ड्यू है और हम 15 आधे घंटे में
या बिजली कट जाएगी. करेक्ट.
You get those messages.
This happened recently with my mother. She said हमारे पानी का कनेक्शन कटने वाला है.
You've answered it right. See, suppose you are in a podcast with me for 1 hour.
Yes.
Our phones are on silent.
Yes.
If my mother, who stays in Punjab, gets a message like this, कि आधे घंटे में इस लिंक पे क्लिक करके पैसे दे दो, नहीं तो तुम्हारी लाइट काट देंगे. I am not reachable. She does not understand cyber. What will she do?
Yeah, she'll pay or she'll take the action she needs to take out of that panic.
And that's the EQ awareness that we're talking about. And that is why, if you see, a lot of these attempts from a hacking perspective, from proliferation of data perspective, are being targeted to either adolescents.
Yes. Or older people.
Or senior citizens, older people. Because of the vulnerability.
Correct.
That it poses.
So very interesting, because this is what I was thinking, that, you know, most people think hacking or cyber attacks are a technical game, but actually they are not. In fact, Stanford did a study, if I remember reading right, that phishing emails which have emotional tonality are opened 3 times faster as compared to other kind of emails. So what kind of emotional vulnerability do you think scamsters and hackers are really playing on to create that urgency, to create that FOMO?
We've not reached that stage, but I'll give you an example. In Western countries, there are voice modulation softwares.
Yes.
There are senior citizens staying 1,000 miles away from the main city of New York without any kids. Somebody knocks on their door, gives them a phone, and there's a voice message saying, I'm your son speaking, you know, I'm in some trouble with the police, etc., etc.
Give me money.
Please give $1,000 to this person.
Yeah.
Right? This is nothing but EQ. Right? People need to understand that they will get contacted directly. They could have, for older people, it's like how we used to be taught as kids, saying if a stranger comes to you, talks to you, don't talk, or have a passcode in the family.
Yeah.
Very simple. Have a passphrase in the family.
We've done that with our kids now.
We have done that.
Yeah.
Why can't we do it with our elders? Why can't we?
100%.
Why can't we just, you know, take one step back before we take any action? No government official, no government department is going to call you and tell you that you've been digitally arrested.
Yes.
Or that you've done customs fraud.
Yes.
Or there is a courier company who's saying that, you know, we've got a parcel for you.
और वो वापस चला जाएगा, पैसे नहीं दोगे तो.
अगर पैसे नहीं दोगे तो वापस चला जाएगा. Right? कोई courier आज की डेट में पहले तो courier उठाएगा ही नहीं.
Correct.
Right? That is why a lot of places now you also see the apps are getting smarter. If you go to these quick commerce apps, in certain pin codes, because there is so much fraud happening,
they're blacklisting those pin codes.
They're saying we'll not do cash on delivery in those pin codes.
Brilliant. Yeah.
Right? So, but it's a cat and mouse game.
Yeah. But even in couriers, no, there is vulnerability, right? When a package arrives, is there a vulnerability for us?
100%.
So if I've ordered from an e-commerce portal and the package has arrived, how am I vulnerable?
Very simple. What will you do? You'll take out that stuff.
Yes.
But package के ऊपर आपका नाम, location, सब कुछ है, phone number भी है.
Correct. Invoice भी है अंदर.
Invoice भी है. कितने लोग invoice फाड़ रहे हैं? नहीं फाड़ रहे ना. People are not. वो invoice का पैकेट उसी पैकिंग के अंदर रख के आप डस्टबिन में डाल रहे हो. इसको
वो नहीं करना चाहिए.
There is a attack called dumpster diving.
Okay.
In which people come and look at common places near offices, etc., saying what is coming out of the trash. Can I use that trash to get some vital information?
This is so scary. This is so scary. But and we discussed children, right? We said children and adults are, older people are more vulnerable. I think forget children what they're doing themselves. We're saying adolescents and things, but parents themselves I feel are making children vulnerable. कहीं जा रहे होते हैं तो फोटो डाल देते हैं, बच्चे की बर्थडे की फोटो डाल दी ऑनलाइन आपने, या लाइक यू सेड मार्कशीट डाल दी आपने, और यू नो यू आर टेकिंग अ वेकेशन, so you tag yourselves in, you know, in that particular location. What is it that parents are doing so drastically wrong these days also to compromise their own children? See, for example, अगर आज मेरा बच्चा कहीं जा रहा है and my child is being followed by a stranger, I'll be very worried. Okay, but these days I feel parents themselves are, you know, making sure that strangers have access to what their children are doing.
Simple. मतलब I'm saying, for example, let's go back to the mark sheet example.
हाँ.
Please, by all means mark sheet डालो, ऊपर से डेट ऑफ बर्थ को हटा दो ना.
Yes.
हर ऐप में there is a erase feature.
Correct. वो फोटो पे भी
मास्क कर दो, मास्क कर दो.
Yes.
आपको आपके बेटे के 16th बर्थडे की फोटोज ऑनलाइन डालनी है, लोकेशन को भी टैग करना है, प्लीज कर दो. बर्थडे के 3 दिन के बाद कर दो, उसी दिन करने की क्या जरूरत है? सी देयर इज आल्सो अ टाइम वैल्यू ऑफ मनी फॉर अ पर्टिकुलर डेटा.
अच्छा, दैट्स अ वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग पॉइंट. प्लीज एलैबोरेट.
बट अगर if that date is passed,
yes,
and you are no longer in that place,
the ship has sailed,
you please tag ना. अगर कोई वहां पे आपको फॉलो भी कर रहा है, कोई कुछ कर रहा है, somebody wants to come and compromise your security,
yeah,
right, you're not there.
Correct.
That event happened 3 days ago, 4 days ago, 5 days ago. So please, by all means, I'm saying, don't be scared. You know, use social media effectively, build networks.
Yes.
But do 1 day later, 2 day later, 3 day later, or don't geotag the location. Or if you want to put a certificate, आप certificate में से ही date of birth हटा दो. आपको your son has got a medal. Super medal के साथ फोटो खिंचवानी है. मेडल में जहाँ पे स्कूल का नाम लिखा है वो स्कूल के नाम को थोड़ा सा ब्लर कर दो. स्कूल का नाम भी आप डालना चाहते हो, सेक्शन ब्लर कर दो. एटलीस्ट इफ समबडी इज आफ्टर, से समबडी इज आफ्टर मी एंड आई एम इन सेक्शन ए, मैंने वो सेक्शन हटा दिया, तो देन ही स्टिल नीड टू गो थ्रू 500 kids who are studying in class 10th to reach me.
But is this a generational problem के सी पहले भी हमारे when we were growing up तो भी सेलिब्रेशन होती थी, हमारे पेरेंट्स भी खुश होते थे, वो भी लोगों को बताते थे. Do you think at the end of it, it all boils down to low EQ where parents have this alarming need to show off to the world what their children are? पहले भी होता था. I'm not saying that, you know.
पहले होता था. पहले क्या होता था? पहले आप लोग एक मोहल्ले में, you know, एक क्लोज सोसाइटी में बोल रहे थे. सोसाइटी में अगर आप 30 लोगों को बता रहे थे तो मे बी 30 में 2 या 3 अननोन थे जिनके साथ आपका डायरेक्ट कांटेक्ट नहीं था. आज तो आप अगर सोशल मीडिया पे डाल रहे तो यू डोंट नो हाउ मेनी पीपल आर
consuming that information
and how are they consuming it.
Yes,
right, how is that information being used? You're putting your child's photo,
yeah,
god forbid somebody just picks up that photo. There are apps today which can make a video of your child doing anything, right?
We'll talk about it, you know, in some time. Well, deepfake is a very, very important, you know, area of concern, as it were, today. Just one thing that recently happened in my household was that my mother was trying to reach out to the customer care of a delivery app. तो अब उनको वहाँ पे ऐप पे तो दिखा नहीं customer care, so she went on Google, she found a number, she called them, and they said something to her, and she's an extremely smart, intelligent, aware person and she knows about cybercrime also. लेकिन उन्होंने कुछ ऐसा किया कि my mother like gave away lakhs of rupees through Paytm because I think they remote controlled her phone somehow by making her download some link. Now what could be happening? She's an intelligent person, she's an aware person, she knows these things happen. Do they hypnotize people on calls? Have you seen such instances? What could really be happening? How do intelligent people become vulnerable?
So I think I may not be the best authority to say whether they were hypnotized or not. But what is happening is, see, it's also, you know, you're on that app, right? Number one, it is always better to go through the app details itself, because it is very easy for me to put up a web page saying for this app, this is the customer care number, और वो Google पे, you know, it is listed as in the first page or second page. आपने टाइप किया, आपको वो आ गया, अब वो नंबर आया, you start talking to me, and the way I talk to you, I'll make you so gullible, right?
Okay.
Saying, this is the best, sorry, our services were not good, etc., etc.
Oh.
But please, we want to, really make it up for you and make you feel so special. So whether you feel hypnotized or not, but I don't know, but you feel emotionally connected to that person. Oh, this person is, especially elder people, right? They like people who are trying to help you because they
Yes.
anyway think that this generation doesn't want to help anybody. So if somebody is going out of the way saying, "Ma'am, please download this link. आप ये link पे click कर दीजिए, बस हो जाएगा," right?
They
I
do
know,
it.
I know people who've transferred almost 2-3 lakhs in 3-4 trenches
Yes, yes.
while crying,
कि ये क्यों-
thinking that they know, probably in a very subconscious mind, they know that they are
what they're doing is wrong.
what
Yeah.
they're transferring is wrong, but because they're so gullible, they're so emotional, or they are so invested in that cause right now, that they are, they're not able to just disconnect once,
So basically
right?
20 रुपए के टमाटर के लिए आप 2-3
हजार
लाख
रुपए
रुपए
आराम से
गवा देते हो अपने,
आराम से
you know,
गवा
to
देते
fight over 20.
So a lot of people I know, especially uh, you know, especially people who do a lot of shopping, etc., and they get free codes,
Yeah.
the coupon codes,
Correct.
right? And on that coupon code to just save 2,000, 3,000, 5,000 rupees, which is a big amount,
हाँ,
believe
वो-
me, they spend lakhs of rupees
Yes.
saying I'll get something back.
Correct.
Uh,
Correct.
I know somebody who lost almost like 10 lakh rupees in a stock scam because for the first two transactions that he did for about 30-40,000, he made a profit of 5,000 rupees, thinking if I can make 5,000 on 50,000, how much will I make on 10 lakhs? Answer is zero.
Imagine.
Answer is zero. There are no free lunches. If there is a
Yes.
free lunch,
Then there's a problem.
then the lunch is you. Let's be very, very clear.
Yeah,
on
if
that.
there's a free lunch, then the lunch is you.
Then the lunch
That's
is-
brilliant.
Then the lunch is you.
That's brilliant. Okay, now this is happening at an individual level. We just discussed elderly people, but tell me, it happens a lot with adolescents also, you said, who are also emotionally vulnerable. They're still trying to come to terms with, you know, the changes in their body. They have peer pressure. Lots of things are happening. If you had to give a teen a cyber survival kit, what are the 3 things you would put in it?
Very simple. Monitor your social media activity very, very closely.
Okay.
There are apps that tell you everything. Please download some of those apps which will tell you where is your data being shared with, who is it being shared with, who's looking at your profile, etc. Number one.
Okay.
Number two, keep all your profiles locked. Whether it is Facebook, LinkedIn, etc., please make it open only for your connections, not even connections of connections,
Yeah, mutuals. That's a question I want to ask you. So we'll come to it. Huh?
right? Mutuals. Third is please enable two-factor authentication. And last is always consult. If you are in trouble, please reach out to the central nodal agencies, certain cybercrime, etc., etc. We've seen cases wherein 15, 16-year-olds are, and see, the hackers are also getting smart, right? If they get access to adolescent's photograph, etc., they will never ask for 5 lakh rupees because they know the adolescent
Can't
kid
give.
will not give 5 lakhs. What they will do is they will say, give me 20,000, give me 25,000,
Oh, wow.
which the kid will have a ability to
Extract from the parents or
extract from
whatever
parents,
else.
from whatever
मांग लो दोस्तों यारों से इधर
they
उधर.
do,
Desperation में.
and they do. And then this becomes a continuous blackmailing
Wow.
cycle, which could result to the other extreme of suicides, etc.
Yeah.
Right? Rather than going to a cyber crime, because today, like you had mentioned, right? If we are sitting together, we may not even be in one photograph frame together ever, but you can actually create a deep fake video
Yes.
of whatever you want
Yes.
today.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that's the truth. But you know what holograms are, right?
Yes.
Have we tried hologramming our photos, for example? Very, very simple thing. Very tedious. Does not look good. It looks like a footer in the photograph. but it saves
But
you
it's
some
yes.
pain.
I think in a day and age where filters are the norm, doing something like
Have a
this.
filter of an hologram, please.
That's very smart, actually. But it can make you look beautiful, but it at least protects you in some way or the other.
Yeah.
So we discussed two-factor authentication. I want to also ask you, lot has been spoken about having safe passwords. So are there really any safe passwords today, or are there any passwords that are strong enough to not get you hacked?
Very interesting question. I strongly advocate the use of something called as password managers, right?
Okay.
Every decent website offers this.
Yeah, but they're so complicated, Preet.
Very, very easy to use. For example, there's a Google password. I'm not an advocate for Google, but I'm just saying there's a Google password manager. You can
Yes.
use that. Second, if your password is not a dictionary word,
Okay.
right? Not starting from alpha to the Z, the last word in your
Yeah.
dictionary, very good.
Acha.
Second, it should not be a relative's name, dog's name, date of
Yeah.
birth, etc. Anything which somebody can socially get out of you should not be
Right.
that.
Right.
If it's a random word and a mix of characters, special characters, numerics, etc., more than 10 digits long, compromising it
Is
need,
harder.
needs a very robust computing power. See, end of the day, it's all computing power. If it's a dictionary word, today there are applications available which can break it in 5-7 seconds,
Wow.
right? But the more complexity you put in, the more computing power it will take. And hence, I'm a hacker. I will not go after you.
How
Na?
do you not waste time on me? You'll
I
do
will.
somebody more vulnerable.
I
Yeah.
have 10 million more people to go after, right?
Yeah.
So if I see your passwords are, even if I first only it's called a dictionary attack. Even
acha.
if I look at do a dictionary attack, I see that it's not a word from the dictionary. I'll put Nishtha, I'll put your husband name, kid name,
Children's
whatever,
name,
date of
yeah.
birth, etc.
Yeah.
And then I'll move on. I don't have time
Yeah.
because I know there are 9.9 million other people, 9.99 million other people whom I can go after.
Right. Okay, now from an organizational perspective, okay, so when you work for good corporates, of course, you get trained all the time on phishing and spam and stuff like that. But it still happens. A lot of employees, and I certain times do blame it on the culture also. Sometimes the culture is so strenuous in an organization that employees are so emotionally compromised that it's easier for them. And we know that phishing emails tend to use emotionally moving language, as it were. So it's easy for them to fall prey to it. But what typically happens when employees end up making mistakes and exposing an organization to a cyber threat?
Happens all the time, right?
Okay.
Emails and again, this become very topical.
Okay.
So between March to June,
Huh.
you will see emails originating as if HR people are sending emails, appraisal, bonus, etc., etc. June to October, Diwali, Bonanza, we want to do an offsite, please pick up top 3 locations, etc.
Okay.
October to Jan, a lot of finance, payment related emails, to the extent that one of the largest e-commerce companies in India, one of the finance heads got an email from the CFO saying this vendor payment is actually pending from 3 weeks. Can we please do it today? And just instead of this account, do this. Change the account to this.
And he did it?
And they did it.
Oh, God.
Because the email was coming from a CFO. The finance manager said, the email looked completely genuine. My boss sending me an email, why will I ignore it? And the email comes at very irregular times to make it sound urgent.
Urgent. But is there something you can see? Like, I remember when I was going through my trainings in different corporates, they would tell me that वो email इतनी सी different होती है, like एक दो alphabet इधर उधर होता है, या .net होता है .com की जगह.
आजकल वो भी अगर by chance वो different होगा, spelling में Gmail में double L आ जाएगा, first name में जसप्रीत में it is double E, एक E हट जाएगा. That is there, but today there are also font changing. So you can look at the font and see कि बस ये पूरी email में सब कुछ ठीक है, but ये font but are different.
अच्छा, so the font could be one signal.
Could
Like
be one
I
signal.
basically wanted to ask you, क्या signals हम look out can we
You
look out
can go
for?
to the email address. The name will be different. It will come from Jaspreet Singh, but if you just hover on the name, it will say Jaspreet का spelling different है. It will actually tell you the email address, कहाँ से आ रही है, what time it is coming. If I don't have a mobile access on email on my mobile phone, how can I send an email at 3 a.m. in the morning? The tone of the email, emotional quotient you spoke about, right? You know a pattern. I know how Nishtha sends emails.
Yes.
Then suddenly I get an email which is
Unlike
from Nishtha,
her. It's unlike
but is
her.
unlike her. Ki, please do this payment today. When in the last 1 year you've not even, sent an email without saying hi, whatever salutations you use,
Correct.
right? So these are all very subtle hints.
Yeah, that you
But
could
people
be.
are still falling prey because you're getting 300 emails a day.
Yeah.
Like you said, it's also a culture thing, right? I need to clear my email box before end of the day.
बड़ी urgency है उस चीज की.
I have 300
नहीं तो
emails.
300 फिर और आ जाएंगी.
300 और आ जाएंगी ना, तो उसको 300 को क्लियर करना है, तो उसमें
जल्दीबाजी में
एक आधी गलत क्लिक हो गया तो
ऐसा कोई सिग्नल एप्स भी देती हैं आपको? इज देयर एनी ऐप बिहेवियर दैट आई कैन लुक आउट फॉर टू प्रिवेंट बीइंग हैक्ड, लाइक टिपिकल एप्स दैट मैंने कोई ऐप डाउनलोड करी, could I know that I'm vulnerable by the behavior of the app?
So if you go to downloading an app,
Yeah.
it will tell you नीचे, if you just click on the down arrow button, कि ये ऐप किसने बनाई है,
हाँ.
कितने डाउनलोड हो गए हैं, what is the star rating, etc etc. So public case study, I think about 2-3 years ago, somebody made a fake popular instant messaging app and put it on Google Play,
Okay. Play Store. हाँ.
By the time people could wake up, authorities could wake up and bring that app down, there were almost 3 million downloads of the most popular instant messaging app.
Oh God. Oh.
So, but उसके source में बिल्कुल clearly लिखा हुआ था कि ये 2 घंटे पहले किसी ने, somebody's created this app 2 hours ago, only 500,000 downloads, whereas this app would probably be used by 30-40 million people
100%.
across
So
the globe.
what you're saying is we need to pause. We need to think.
Relax.
Yeah.
I'm saying the moment, and that is what they feed on. The moment you're trying to do something very fast, pay somebody very fast, reply to an email, download an app fast,
Yeah.
pause.
And think, and then you respond.
Scanning a QR code. Everywhere where you go,
Yeah.
you're pointing your camera, scanning a QR code. When you scan a QR code, then you also get a phone number. Please ask him, what's your name, what's your number? Ask the other person. He's giving you a QR code. That means he would know what is the QR code registered in the name as, whose name as.
We're very quick to scan.
We
people
don't
think
even
it's very
ask. We
convenient.
just QR code आता है, उसके ऊपर कोई भी नाम आता है. We just punch in the amount and we give it.
Now, so today we're living in the day and age of AI.
Right.
Right? Our voices can be cloned. Then there's of course deep fake.
Right.
Right? So real identity is kind of melting away.
Right.
Okay. At a time like this where anybody can be digitally compromised, should we become emotionally more intelligent or should we become more skeptical?
You've put me in a spot, Nishtha. I would say a bit of both.
Okay.
Right. I think emotional intelligence, given the onset of AI,
Yeah.
is probably the need of the hour.
Okay.
Right. Lots and lots of places you will see whatever is repeatable routine will unfortunately be done by AI.
Yeah.
Right. But AI wouldn't have that EQ that you do when you go and meet 10 other people
Sure.
in office,
Sure.
etc., social gatherings. So that is one. But so I use 2 terms. One is AI for cybersecurity
Yes.
and cybersecurity for AI.
Okay.
Right. One is how do I use AI to better detect some of this that is happening. But the second is how does AI also help proliferate some of these methods of madness
Correct.
that are going on in this world, right? The app that we just spoke about. So I think there is a very, very delicate balance. And with AI also, what will happen is uh, going back to the point on a lot of routine, repeatable tasks will actually be done by AI.
Yeah.
And we'll have a lot more time to ourselves to delve into our EQ more than ever.
Yeah. Interesting. But I also know this one company recently, it had fired, about 800 employees and replaced, this is customer service, and they replaced it with AI. And then after some time of trying AI out, they decided to bring the customer service agents back. So despite these conveniences, these repeatable job ownership with AI that is available to us, increasingly people still want to talk to a human being on the other side. Because I feel that as humans, we tend to calibrate better emotionally versus a bot. So, what do you think is going to happen?
Uh, so I know at least 15 areas
Yeah.
where AI has replaced people.
Okay.
Two, three quick examples,
Yeah.
right? The world's largest basketball league in one
Yeah.
of the major developed countries is run for about 6 to 7 months.
Okay.
Our equivalent of IPL, 2.5 months, right?
Got it.
For various news agencies to cover that till last year, they needed about 80 odd reporters to cover
Acha. All right.
the
The
league
event.
games,
Yeah.
etc., do the pre-match, post-match, etc., etc. Right? 80 odd reporters across 5 to 6 months. This year, same league, they covered by 9 AI agents and 5 reporters.
Oh, and they got the
Five.
same result?
And fortunately, unfortunately, AI, before the start of even the first kickoff,
Yeah.
could predict to 95% accuracy on who will win the match. So why play at all? That's a different
Yeah.
that's a different question, right? But the point I'm trying to make is then what happened was 3 4 very senior league players actually refused coming to a talk show because of the AI agent. They were
Right.
not talking to a live human
Yeah.
being.
Yeah.
The interview, like this podcast was being done, could be done by a AI, right? Tomorrow. But will it have the same effect? Will
Certainly
it
not.
will it have the same EQ? Answer is not. So now that league this year, when they are planning, they've already called back 30 reporters. It is the same thing. So as a consequence, the players, coaches, etc., refuse to talk to the AI agents because uh, they just did not see any value in it. No
Correct.
emotional quotient in it.
So basically, what we're saying is that the humans in so many other spaces are actually important and are being brought back. So there is a reversal also that we see.
A lot of organizations that I know, top customer care
Yes.
executives, maybe at a L1, L2 level, are being taken care of by AI agents. But if like a priority card holder is calling, their call is directly being bypassed from the AI agent and
Send to a human customer
going to
service
a
agent.
human customer service agent. So companies are also becoming smarter, making this bifurcation, and they know that this is the kind of customer that I don't want talking to an AI agent, and
Right.
I give them a personalized experience.
Understood.
Right? This is the generation of hyper personalization,
Right.
as you
Hyper.
would see with all apps also.
Wonderful. This is brilliant. In fact, just like a few days ago, I was wondering because I do EQ coaching. So somebody said that now people can even consult. You don't really need a therapist. You don't need to pay so much money to a therapist. You can get a subscription for a AI for an AI based bot that is going to play your therapist's role or your counselor's role or your psychiatrist's role. And I was like, how is that even a possibility? Because when you're going through an emotionally jarring experience, when you're feeling down and out, what you need is another human being. I don't want to talk to a bot.
Yeah, there are millions of websites available. AskHelp.ai and other AI engines that can potentially play the role of a therapist. But what will a AI agent tell you, which is different from what you don't know today? What was the reason of going to a psychiatrist or seeking help was
Yeah.
that entire emotional quotient, that entire zone that they will take you in, where you feel comfortable and have a discussion.
Correct.
Right? If I have to sit at home only and talk to a AI agent, I'm not sure how successful they will be in solving my EQ problem.
And also the fact that the vulnerability is tremendous, right? When you're doing it online, you're telling a person where your headspace is at, and then there's also, let's also understand the dark web is also a part of the world wide web. So you never know how you could get compromised, right? So one also has to be extremely careful about what one really shares with the bot, because you don't know how it gets manipulated. At the end of the day, social engineering is based on emotional manipulation and not anything else. Is that right?
Superb. So suppose the bot is, or the organization behind the bot could be any small AI company or a large one, is recording these files.
Yes.
And those recordings get leaked. How comfortable would you be?
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? There is this entire social engineering element, and as you said, I think your first question was this only.
Yes.
That human element is the weakest link in the entire
Yes.
security piece.
Yes.
And if that is compromised, then God save us.
Awesome. Awesome. Just one last question before we wrap up our conversation. I want you to leave my viewers, my listeners, with one piece of advice or one gem, uh, or one thing they can do to stay safer in the digital world today.
I think that one could be 1A, 1B, 1C.
Okay.
Strong passwords.
Okay.
Change your passwords frequently and use two-factor authentication.
Great. Thank you so much for your time.
Thanks for having me here, Nishtha.
There is so much we've discussed today. बहुत सारा हमने ऐसा ग्राउंड कवर किया है जो हमारे लिसनर्स व्यूअर्स को बहुत चिंतन मनन में डाल सकता है. There's a lot that they can introspect on and perhaps create lives which are digitally safer and perhaps emotionally more connected to their loved ones.
Thank you so much, and it was a real pleasure.
My pleasure.
If this podcast helps even one person becoming more digitally secure, I think we've done our job.
It's helped me for sure.
Perfect.
Thank you so much. Thank you.